Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo 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 Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
So we are continuing text 16, no?
प्रजापतेस्ते वचसाधिश्च सन्त्या प्रजापतेस्ते वचसाधिश्च सन्त्या लोककिलायं कामहतोऽनुभद्रः अहं च लोकानुगतो वहामि बलिं च शुक्लानि निशाय तुभ्यम्
O my Lord, Kadama Muni is praying to the Lord. O my Lord, you are the master and leader of all living entities. Under your direction, all conditioned souls, as if bound by rope, are constantly engaged in satisfying their desires. Following them, O embodiment of religion, I also bear oblations for you, who are eternal time. In the second paragraph, Prabhupada writes, a question may be raised. Since Kardama Muni was advanced in spiritual life, why then did he not ask the Lord for liberation? Why did he want to enjoy material life in spite of his personally seeing and experiencing the Supreme Lord? The answer is that not everyone is competent to be liberated from material bondage. It is everyone's duty, therefore, to enjoy according to his present position. But under the direction of the Lord of all the Vedas, the Vedas are considered to be the direct words of the Lord. The Lord gives us the opportunity to enjoy material life as we want, and at the same time, He gives directions for the modes and processes of abiding by the Vedas, so that gradually one may be elevated to liberation from material bondage. Conditioned souls who have come to the material world to fulfill their desires to lord it over material nature are bound by the laws of nature. The best course is to abide by the Vedic rules that will help one to be gradually elevated to liberation. And in the next paragraph, Prabhupada writes, therefore one should follow the Vedic regulations and surrender unto the Supreme Lord, because that is the ultimate goal of perfection in human life. One should live a life of piety, follow the religious rules and regulations, marry and live peacefully for elevation to the higher status of spiritual realization. So, Kardama is doing it so that others can follow what he is showing by example. That's the main reason. Text 17.
लोकांश लोकानुगतान् पशूंश्च हित्वा श्रितास्ते चरणातपत्रम् परस्परं तद्गुणवादसीधु पीयूष निर्यापितदेहधर्माः
However, persons who have given up stereotyped worldly affairs and the beastly followers of these affairs, and who have taken shelter of the umbrella of your lotus feet by drinking the intoxicating nectar of your qualities and activities in discussions with one another, can be free from the primary necessities of the material body. After describing the necessity of married life, Kardama Muni asserts that marriage and other social affairs are stereotype regulations for persons who are addicted to material sense enjoyment. Okay, so these are for people who are already trapped in the material world. So they have to do these things. But for devotees, it is not necessary, provided they are pure devotees. But pure devotees also will set examples, depending on the time, place, and circumstances. So in the case of Kadamba Muni, his father wants him to create progeny. So therefore, he even though he doesn't need it, but to set examples, he also is taking the ashram, Grihastha ashram. In the purport, in the middle of the first paragraph, Prabhupada says, one has to act in terms of the Vedic injunctions in order to enjoy material life. So it is possible, but it must be followed what? So what does it mean? Must be applied, sanctioned. Okay, it must be sanctioned, and the sanctions are revealed in the scriptures. So that's how you enjoy the material things. If it says you can't do more than that, you can't do more than that. Problem is in Kali Yuga, people don't follow any scriptures, so they don't have any sanctions. So they want to do what they want to do, and therefore there's consequences. Within the rules and regulations of Vedas, you are protected. If you go beyond that, then you are answerable, and so the material nature will cut you down. Yeah, but those who have taken to the devotional service of Lord are not afraid of the regulations of this material world. So that's a difference. If you are not doing devotional service, you better be following the Vedic injunctions properly. If you are following devotional service, then these injunctions don't have any jurisdiction because you are under the protection of
Supreme Lord.
Yeah, Supreme Lord. Devim Prakritim. So they because they surrendered to the Lord, they are under His protection. So therefore, generally they are not afraid of the regulations of the material, but they will set examples. Yeah. So in the next paragraph, Prabhupada writes, constant transmigration of the soul from one body to another is the cause of suffering in material existence, which is a fact. By the time you get used to this body, it's time to give up. You think, oh, you got everything sorted out, your 401k, everything is okay, and then boom, get out. And then you have to take another birth, another family, everything, new set, start all over again. Then you think, I've done this so many times. Punas Charvana.
So, Prabhu, rules and regulations that we follow in devotional life, are those given by Vedic?
It is also from Vedas, yes. Whatever Prabhupada is saying is coming from the Vedas. But it's a higher order. Okay. The normal thing is for material lifestyle. Okay. So Upakanda, that means it's higher. So they Pasana Kanda.
Karma Kanda on the person.
Yeah. So it's a higher level. And that talks about spiritual life. So those rules based on that is for purifying yourself so that you can do spiritual activities. So those are not won't affect you like the material nature will affect you. If you follow that, then the material nature wouldn't affect you. But if you ignore that and you ignore the rules for the normal thing, do your own thing, then you are actually performing Vikarma. Yeah, because it's not based on scripture. Remember in the Bhagavad Gita, Akarma, Vikarma, Karma. So if you want to enjoy, then you have to do Karma Yoga. Best is Karma Yoga. Most of us should be doing Karma Yoga. And then you as you progress, you become Nishkama Karma Yogi. Means you don't take anything, but you do it as a duty. Yeah. Okay. So we can't do much about this, the transmigration. As long as you have desires, you have to take birth. As long as you have desires, there's no other way around it. You will take birth. It's a given. Okay, it's a given. It's not like you decide today I don't want to take birth or like that. It doesn't work like that. As long as you're in the material world with a material body, you have to. And each body that you get has a certain quota for happiness and quota for suffering also. It's part of that. It's a package deal. Yeah. Like when you buy some equipment, they give you guarantee, right? So they guarantee you. So same, the body you get, you are guaranteed to suffer. So, but we don't accept those things. We only want the guarantee for happiness, but we don't want the guarantee of the suffering. We ignore that, but that's why we suffer, because we reject the fact that we can suffer. So therefore, because we as spirit soul, we are seeking happiness, and in a material body, you cannot get that. It's short-lived, and so it's going to break down, and therefore, when you are attached to that thing that is breaking down, naturally you will suffer, and you think I'm dying. So these are all the coverings that affects us. So therefore, Prabhupada says, its constant is transmigration from one soul, from one body to another, is the cause of suffering. The conditional life, this conditional life in material existence called samsara. One may perform good work and take his birth in a very nice material condition, but the process under which birth and death take place is like a terrible fire. Sri Vishnavanath Chakravarti Thakur in his prayer to the spiritual master has described this. Samsara, or the repetition of birth and death. This is the first verse. Is compared to a forest fire. A forest fire takes place automatically, without anyone's endeavor, by the friction of dried wood, and no fire department or sympathetic person can extinguish it. Because it's in somewhere in the forest, fire will catch. Because of the wind will blow, there's friction, and then dry air, boom, fire. The raging forest fire can be extinguished only when there's a constant downpour of water from a cloud. The cloud is compared to the mercy of the spiritual master. So, as practicing devotees, we should honor that my spiritual master is the one who's putting the fire out. Why am I igniting it all the time? No, we have to think about it. He is trying to put out, and I am trying to pour kerosene in it. By the grace of the spiritual master, the cloud of the mercy of the personality of Godhead is brought in, and then only when the rains of Krishna consciousness fall can the fire of material existence be extinguished. So therefore we have to take the shelter of the spiritual master and the Supreme Lord. Not possible otherwise. What is our process? Prabhupada says, do chanting, perform devotional service. So again, how much am I chanting? How much am I doing devotional service? Do I put my material existence before my spiritual needs? Right? What do I put forward? What do I want? Huh? Spiritual needs. Yeah, you want that, but do you actively pursue it? When you actively pursue it, then the actions and reactions of material existence can be halted. Otherwise, yeah, you have to undergo the reactions. And then another point Prabhupada makes here, he says, it is recommended here that one should give up the conditional life of this material world and the association of so-called civilized human beings who are simply following in a polished way. Now, what is that they are following in a polished way? The same stereotype principles of eating, sleeping, defending, and mating. He says, Prabhupada is saying, we don't want the association. Because that's all they will tell you in so many different ways. Right? So many different ways. And they themselves don't know that they are reproducing the same things. Correct? Same thing, the laptop will be put this way, then they twist it around and so put it another way. And then everyone say, oh, that looks great. And then they buy it. It's true, right? Make it smaller, then make it bigger, then make it long, make it wide. And it's the same thing. So only in a polished way. Make it more shiny, right? Make it more skinny, then it's better, it's the best. Yeah, the same thing. Isn't it? Really, right? You think about it, it's the same thing over and over. But as devotees, we use anything for the service of Krishna. So that's fine. But we shouldn't be enamored by all these things. We should understand, okay, everybody's saying it's great, but that's the level they can only see. But we shouldn't be like that, oh yeah, it's great. Whatever we get, we use. If you go and look at some of these blog sites, they will say Apple is the best. And another guy will say, oh, IBM is the best. And then HP is the best. Huh? Google is the best. Chrome is the best. All this. Really, you just want to do something to do work. That's about it. Bottom line. So, chanting and hearing the glory of the Lord is described here as Tvad Guna Vada Siddhu. Only by drinking the nectar of chanting and hearing the pastimes of the Lord can one forget the intoxication of material existence. So material existence is very intoxicating. That means it has a very strong power.
Yeah. Very strong power.
Very strong.
If we neglect it.
Huh?
If we underestimate it, then it's a problem.
We always underestimate. That's the problem.
Yeah.
We always underestimate material nature. And we are always in some illusion.
Prabhupada was worried about two things. He was saying that my disciples take Maya cheaply, and then he said, they are not reading my books. These are the two things.
So it's important you all keep reading every day, not just like some of you were saying only now we are reading, and then like there's so many information you came across that you never saw. And simply reading is enough because Prabhupada is delivering Krishna to us. Same thing, eh? If you do it every day, read a little bit, you'll see your life will change. It has to change. If it doesn't change, then the problem is with us, not with Srila Prabhupada. The method works. Definitely it works. It's the application that is wrong. Or not even applying it.
Most of the time that is. Most of the time that is the case. We don't apply.
Yeah, we don't apply. Our faults, it's our faults. Right? We never apply. When we hear someone say, don't do this, we do it. Right? Correct or not? Yeah, because that independence is always there. From the beginning, we came here because of that kind of a mentality.
Ask them to do it, they won't do it. Ask them to do it, they won't do it.
Yeah.
But if you ask them not to do it, they will show.
Yeah, I don't know. Then they say, yeah, you are a right guy. You understand my heart. Right? That's what it is. Anyway, no, these things are important for a practicing devotee to think like this daily. Otherwise, you will never consider the consequences in 5 years, 10 years. Because you are developing a habit by not doing or practicing properly. It becomes so habituated, it becomes so hard. At the time of death, how are you going to chant? Right? My god sister, I think I told you, she was a doctor. She said she was in India where this old lady is dying. So she was telling her, why didn't you chant? And she said, I can't. And she was talking for a long time. I can't do this because I'm not pious, this, that. But hell, man.
You're talking so much.
Yeah, you're talking so much.
So Prabhupada says chant, 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 and the person says chant.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's real.
There's a Bengali lady, the son is asking chant.
Uh,
After a while, she said, "Ab to katha mein bolte parina." Means I cannot say so many words.
yeah, but you can.
But to say that she
Yeah. So these things really happen. No? So what Prabhupada says is a fact. We can speak a big philosophy of why we don't want to chant. You know, meaningless, futile, and then you die. Prabhupada says you die like a frog. Caw, caw. Finally, you die, right? What is the point? The snake of time will come, he said, and bite you. So as practicing devotee, we have to think about this every day. Every day we have to think, what have I done? You know? How much further have I progressed or digressed or digressed? You know? Next 18.
You know, sometimes we can get into that. Yeah, I'm just doing the things every day, so I shouldn't be evaluating. It's like that. I mean, we at least we devotees like we may not end up evaluating ourselves. We just try. I'm chanting. I'm associating.
Yeah, but
I'm in
that's
the
like-
association of devotees and chanting.
That's like a bad habit.
That's it. So it's
You
all
don't
going.
understand how am I making advancement?
Yeah,
No
introspection
introspection.
is not there.
Sometimes we also, if we're doing a lot of services, we think we're advancing.
Yeah, but no. More services means you must think, wow, the Lord is worried about me.
More services does not mean
Yeah,
advancement.
that's not necessary. You can do so many things, but your consciousness could still be at the bottom.
Yeah.
For the sake of doing, you do. So there's some benefit, but then you're not making a serious advancement. So it's important.
How do we measure ourselves? We are making serious advance.
You must. If you find yourself not doing this thing, that means your mind is in control of you. So then you need someone who can tell you, or sit together and say, what did you do today? Okay, this is the things. What have I done? What have you done? So two person can call each other and say, okay, this is my whole week routine. This is what I did. This is how much I studied. And then you can set goals. Help each other. Then you can progress from there. Okay, how many verses I memorized? All this can help. Simply because you're in connection with Krishna, right? Call and say, look, I memorized this. This is a very nice verse. Krishna is saying this. Prabhupada is saying this. So I like this. So I'm memorizing. I just want to tell you like that.
Yeah.
So at the end of the week, you can recite all the verses you memorize. That is also to see whether you can remember also. If you chant the same thing over and over again for a whole year, you can't forget it anyway. Yeah. Right? Alpamedas, we have very little intelligence, little memory. So we have to keep practicing, and then the Lord will expand our intelligence. All right, text 18.
न तेजराक्षाभ्रमिरायुरेषाम्
तेजराक्षाभ्रमिरायुरेषाम्
त्रयोदशारं त्रिशतं षष्टिपर्व
त्रयोदशारं त्रिशतं षष्टिपर्व
षण्णेमि अनन्त चद्यत्रिनाभि
सन्नेमि अनन्तचन्द्रियत्रिनाभि
करालसो श्रोतो जगदच्छिदत्तावत्
करालश्रो जगद्गजिच्यतात्.
Your wheel, which has 3 nails, rotates around the axis of the imperishable Brahman. It has 13 spokes, 360 joints, 6 rims, and numberless leaves carved upon it. Though its revolution cuts short the lifespan of the entire creation, this wheel of tremendous velocity cannot touch the lifespan of the devotees of the Lord. So this wheel means is time. Okay. So it doesn't matter what the devotee does because he's always connected to Krishna. So he's always transcendently connected. So therefore, even when he dies, he still goes back to Godhead. Dies early or dies late, he's still with Krishna all the time. So therefore, the will cannot touch the lifespan of a devotee in that sense. Doesn't matter. Whereas for the non-devotees, they are always worried. Oh, I have to do this, I have to do that. Prabhupada gives an example of someone he knew when he was working, and the man told the doctor, please doctor, give me for 3 more years to live or something. I got so many things to do. So the guy died after a while. Doesn't work. You cannot do anything about it. Swapamabhyasya dharmasya prayata mahato bhaya. So Prabhupada quotes that. So devotional service is important. And doing devotional service, we should do it with concentration, with dedication, sincere. One has to do it like that. Otherwise, we have to take birth, right? And you know, each of us, we know what we have gone through already in this time, right? You know your life.
Don't know past life also, just current life.
Just this life, that's
Just
what I
this
mean.
life.
Just you look at it and ask yourself, is this what you want to go through again? You know, all the same thing, only slightly different depending on your karma. But it's practically going to be the same thing, same suffering. You grow up, you get whacked, you get sick, you throw up, your parents take care, then you have to go to school, get bullied, so many things, bitterness, exams, stress, college, stress, go to work, stress. Boss will smile at you and behind your back he's cursing, hoping to fire you. Yeah, they do that. So what is this life?
But Prabhu, like many times we read that we can go back to Godhead in this lifetime, and then in some lectures we hear that it takes more than lifetime.
Yeah, both
One
are
by one.
correct. Both are correct. If you are 100% focused on pleasing Guru and Krishna, you will go back. Why not? But if you're half-hearted endeavor, then you'll take some time.
No, in some lectures they say there's 3 lifetimes or something
No,
specific.
that point means if you don't really put in your full... You see, if you're sincere, even though you may not be pure yet, but you're sincere, whatever you've done, you only have been doing for
Krishna.
nothing for yourself. Then at the time of that, definitely Krishna will say, okay, for Kali Yuga person, you're cool, so come.
Open.
Prabhupada said he'll take you by the back door, no?
Prabhupada said it's one lifetime it is possible.
Yeah, it is possible. So in that mood, if you're sincere, yes.
But we have to apply
Yes.
ourselves
That's my
completely.
point. You have
That's
to
what
apply.
it is.
You have to come to the
Sincere.
stage.
Sincerely.
Yeah, you have to come to that stage, and that's what is required. Otherwise, it takes 2 lives, 3 lives, 1,000 lives, because each time if you increase your sincerity or your surrender process, ultimately you'll reach 100%. Right? So the point is, do it 100% now, even though you may have other problems. So many things are affecting your consciousness that is coming in you, but you stop all that and say, I only do for Krishna. But still these things will come. So at the end of life, either Prabhupada or Krishna will say, come with us. But if you give into your mind one day, next day, I better be safe. Right? Tarangini.
Tarangarangini. Tarangarangini.
Tarangarangini, yeah.
Though in terms of that evaluation, the question before, you can say buddy up with somebody that's
Buddy or your wife or your friend, whatever. Yeah.
but also in terms of
But you also
our own-
know.
our own
Yeah,
consciousness.
you also
How
know.
can we evaluate? Okay, my consciousness will be better than. Is there anything we
Well,
can
a
try
simple
to-
example you can give is, let's say, very simple. Let's say you're initiated, but you still have a desire for tea. You like tea or coffee?
We used to drink coffee.
Okay, so you like coffee. So then every time you're initiated, but every time you go next to Starbucks, yeah, then you get a whiff and you're like, oh, I wish I can drink. No? So let's say you go and drink, and then you tell your Guru Maharaj says, don't worry, don't do it again. Then, but you continue doing that, right? That means what's happening? You're not making advancement. Right? But if you stop, let's say you were taking 2 cups, what do they call it, cups or what? Tubs. Cups, right? Cups. Cups. So let's say you're drinking 2 cups a day, and then your Guru Maharaj said you have to give it up. I've initiated you. You shouldn't do that. Then you feel, man, why my gurus, depend now. I'm taking like 10 per week, So then you cut down 9, 8. Then I'm making some progress. Ultimately. So the same way, if you have bad thoughts in your mind about a certain devotee, then you stop thinking like that. Every time it comes, you say Krishna, Krishna, and think of something. So that way you are protecting yourself. So there's tangible ways you can also guide yourself, apart from getting help from other devotees also. Yeah. But you know yourself.
Yeah.
I am making progress or not. Yeah. Right?
Yeah,
Or
so-
you get games, go on the internet and play some games, Some I've seen devotees play, right? Warcraft, and all kinds of games they play. So they're addicted every time, must play. Nobody's around, then they play. Right? like in even in workplace they'll be playing, and then the boss comes only they change to another screen. Right? So then they should know I am having this problem. What to do?
But our case can be this little bit this like gross like or can be subtle. Like
Subtle,
profit
yes.
adoration, distinction.
I'm
or-
giving a gross thing.
Yeah.
So even then you should say, for example, you did a nice presentation, right? And you're feeling good about it because everyone comes and kisses your feet, So you think I'm so great, Yeah. So then you shouldn't think I'm the one who's doing. If you're intelligent, you'll think like that. I am not the real person. So many devotees help me do the presentation also. Yeah. So they all. Yeah. But if you're not, then you're going to think actually I'm actually the one who present. I'm actually good. Yeah. Then you have a problem. But if you have someone to talk about it, you will raise this point and say, look, I'm feeling I'm the one who actually successfully did the presentation. And then the person can say, you fool, how can you say you're the one? Your guru is behind your potency. Krishna is behind the potency. Then you will think, yeah, he's right. So this will go forward and backward.
Yeah.
Because your mind will be fighting. This will happen. But
Yeah.
the more you cry out to Krishna, then the faster you get purified.
Yeah.
Because Krishna is willing to yank out that chunk of nonsense from your brain or heart. But you must be ready to let Krishna do heart surgery. Yeah. Open heart surgery.
Read something unsteady devotional service.
Huh? You want to
What-
read?
Read something.
Okay, go ahead.
This is notes from Kadambakaran Raj
Hmm.
and Madhuri Kadambani. The second
No, Taran.
Shiva. We have written. Unsteady devotional service progresses in 6 stages. Utsaha, my false confidence, or one may be puffed up with enthusiasm. Ganatarala, sporadic endeavor, being sometimes diligent and other times negligent. Vyuddha Vikalpa, indecision. The mind spends time pondering on whether to renounce or to take the household life. Vishaya Sangara, struggle with the senses or the inability to give up sense enjoyment. Nema Kshama, inability to uphold vows, which results in the inability to improve in one's devotional service. And Tarangarangini, enjoy the facilities offered by Bhakti, that is material gain, worship, and position. These are the weeds around the creeper of Bhakti, seeking pleasure, Ranga, in the weed-like facilities which are like small waves, Taranga, in the ocean of Bhakti. So the 6 levels.
Yeah,
Unsteady.
that's in Madhura Kadambani. So it's there. You can read your. I mean, Maharaj gave you all the cost, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
For price.
Yeah, so go back and review it and see where you can see where you are. And actually, every single one of us here know where our consciousness. You can cheat externally, but you can't cheat yourself. Can't cheat Krishna. Can't cheat your spiritual master.
I was saying that in the first canto, second chapter,
Yeah,
from verses 16 to 22.
yeah.
So Gurujan Prabhu in his book, Unveiling His Lotus Feet, he refers to this thing, and then he says that all these things are there, but that Nashta Prayeshwara, and also the other one that comes, the Rajasthan Bhava. So these things are, I mean, when I read it, I find myself.
Yeah, you can tell where you are at.
And it's very difficult to overcome. And then he was telling that this verses from 16 to 22 actually give you the key that if you serve the devotees, you develop the urge to hear.
Yes.
Krishna will clean.
Shinvadam Swakata Krishna Krishna. Yeah.
The key is service to devotees to get that grace.
Yes. What is that verse?
Bhakti Yoga Prayoga.
No. Serving the
Nityam Bhagavad.
Sattvic.
Nityam Bhagavata.
no.
No, it's not.
Anyway, at the
Before
moment I
that,
can't remember.
16
Yeah,
verse.
I can't remember. But anyway, yeah. So all the difficulties or problems in our life, all the difficulties and problems in life can be overcome by service. Service to the deity, service to the devotees.
So that's why that hearing part is really.
Yeah, unless you hear about I am in a difficulty, how do you know you are in difficulty?
Shodam.
Huh?
Shodam.
Shushrusradhanasya Vasudeva Kata Ruchi Shanman. That's right. That's the verse. Yeah. That was good.
That section is very nice. Especially in the hearing and
Yeah,
how
yeah.
Gurujan Prabhu explained it.
You have to do the service, which I always keep emphasizing. You have to do service to devotees also. It helps. You have to start somewhere. That's my point again. You have to start somewhere so that you can continue with that. If you don't start, well, how are you going to at least say, I am not making advancement? You will never say that. The moment you take up that saying, I'm not making as much progress as I want to, right? For example, you read and you see, Kadama Muni is experiencing this experience, seeing Krishna. Why I can't do it? Right? Why I can't do it? So we have to think like that. Once you go out.
Yeah, sometimes this artificial humility can be like we just look at them these stories and don't really think like I want to aspire for that. I can.
But that's why they are in the Bhagavatam, for you to
it's like-
aspire.
Yeah.
They are your role models. Not like exactly what you say, it's a story and okay, good, nice story.
These
Right.
are some other time.
Yeah,
Yeah, we just
not for
become-
me.
Yeah, I can just become complacent. Right?
Yeah.
Doesn't move on.
The real time of service comes.
Then you
We
can't.
don't have just making some excuses.
Yeah. When you have to do service, then you make all kinds of reasons why you don't. You will see yourself, according to how much you surrender, you'll see how expert you are in giving reasons for not wanting to do service. If you feel that way, then you at least there's some hope for you. If you don't feel, then you're covered, actually, by one of those Tamishra, under Tamishra, Moha, Maha Moha, Tamas, all in the name of ignorance. So think carefully. Anytime somebody calls you, you have to see Krishna there behind it. What happens if tomorrow Krishna, Radha Nila Mother calls you on the phone and says, I want you to come and dress? No, I actually cannot do it today. I feel so like this.
Hare Krishna.
I have a guest at home. right? You will say, I have a guest at home. And I've read that guest means they are sent by Krishna. So I'm taking care of, right?
Guess
The
is
guest.
Narayana, so I'm taking care
Yeah,
of
guest and Narayan. You will come and you will even speak like that to Krishna.
You're laughing. It's true. That's true. I say
Our mind is
when time of service comes, I say that.
Yeah.
Devotees run.
no, you should surrender to that. And then Krishna will test you. Oh, so you're surrendering. Let's see how much you can surrender. Squeeze. Yeah, it's like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we have to be ready.
There's one lecture I heard recently. I didn't hear it fully, I have to still hear it. So, the Prabhuji was explaining how does Ras Leela relate to me in my devotion? Like, how can I relate to anything? So he was telling, how do I relate to the flute of Krishna playing the flute and calling the gopis? And he said, to me it is like the blowing of the conch shell in the morning when I have to be in front of Krishna or any call for service. He said, if we do things like for each and everything, he had a correlation in the current. But he said, if we see like that, then we can also be like
That's nice.
fully surrender to the Krishna and the gopis.
Yeah, actually, you look at gopis, what's the difference, right? They are completely 100%, nothing about themselves. But that's the mood. If you want to follow, if you want to be where in the Ras Leela, that is the mood you have to develop. Otherwise, don't worry about it. And then it'll take you many lifetimes to decide to come to that mood. Yeah, so if you can continue, as you are asking how to meditate like that, so if you can continue in your life, every day or every week you increase something little by little, why not? You can achieve Krishna in this life. Definitely. It is doable. The thing is, it's doable, whether we want to do it or not. So it's a game we play with Krishna. It's been an eternal game.
Use the excuse. Now with Bhakta Pranashyati, he will take care of us anyways.
Yeah, but only if you are his bhakta, no? It's easy to say I'm a bhakta, right? But there's a criteria of bhakta. Even to call someone bhakta is a very elevated position. Bhakta Prahlad. We are what? We are not bhakta Prahlad. We are bhakta Maya. Actually, that's how we are. So we're very much enamored by material nature. Her glittering form is very attractive for us. So it's taking a lot of effort for the acharyas to pull us out. Yeah. You know, it's like, have you seen they put in the restaurants, they put traps, sticky traps. Have you haven't seen that? I have seen it. It's terrible because the mouse or whatever runs through it gets stuck and you cannot take it out. Cannot take out. If you try the whole skin, everything will tear. So that's how stuck we are in this material nature. Yeah, it's terrible. I've seen the state of the mouse. It's a horrible way to die. But anyway, that's how we are. We are going to text 19.
Ekasvayam san jagata srishrikshaya Dvitiyayatman adiyogamayaya Srijasya dahpasi punargrashishyase Yatornanabhirbhagavan swasaktihi
My dear Lord, you alone create the universes. O personality of Godhead, desiring to create these universes, you create them, maintain them, and again wind them up by your own energies, which are under the control of your second energy called Yogamaya. Just as a spider creates a cobweb by its own energy and again winds it up. In this verse, Prabhupada says, two important words nullify the impersonalist theory that everything is God. Here Kardama says, O personality of Godhead, you are alone, but you have various energies. The example of the spider is very significant also. The spider is an individual living entity, and by its energy it creates a cobweb and plays on it. And whenever it likes, it winds up the cobweb, thus ending the play. When the cobweb is manufactured by the saliva of the spider does not become impersonal. Similarly, the creation and manifestation of the material or spiritual energy does not render the creator impersonal. Here the very prayer suggests that God is sentient and can hear the prayers and fulfill the desires of the devotee. Therefore, Prabhupada says, he is Satchit Ananda Vigraha, the form of bliss, knowledge and eternity. It's transcendental, complete. Nice. I like this example. Yeah. Right? Text 20.
नैतद्दताधीश पदं तवेक्षितं यन्मायया नस्तनुषे भूतसूक्ष्मम् अनुग्रहायास्त्वपि यर्हि मायया लसत्तुलस्या भगवान् विलक्षितः.
My dear Lord, although it is not your desire, you manifest this creation of gross and subtle elements just for our sensual satisfaction. Let your causeless mercy be upon us, for you have appeared before us in your eternal form, adorned with the splendid wreath of tulasi leaves. So he also has a wreath of tulasi leaves, a garland of tulasi leaves also. So Prabhupada says it is clearly stated here that the material world is not created by the personal will of the Supreme Lord. It is created by his external energy because the living entities want to enjoy it. This material world is not created for those who do not want to enjoy sense gratification, who constantly remain in transcendental loving service and who are eternally Krishna conscious. So we, all of us here, we wanted this place. We wanted, and the Lord is providing this place. You can't blame anybody. But there is a place called spiritual world where we are supposed to be, where it's originally we are supposed to be, and then we decided to come here. Even though he created this place, he could have left us here, right? With the material nature, he could have just left us and not bothered at all. Every time he died. But he keeps coming back. Takes avatar, sends his personal Shaktis, associates, go, bring them, help them. That's his grace, that's his mercy. Even though he says, okay, you can enjoy. And then he comes here to reset everything, right? Right? He sets the standard, which is through the Vedas, how to live a life. And when people become chaotic, he comes and stops them. Chops them down and says, no, this is the rules. You have to follow this rule. Otherwise, why? Because he wants to assist us in going back to God here. Prabhupada says the Lord unwillingly creates this material world, but he descends in his personal form or sends one of his reliable sons or a servant or a reliable author like Vyasadeva to give instruction. He himself also instructs in his speeches of Bhagavad Gita. This propaganda work goes on side by side with the creation to convince the misguided living entities who are rotting in this material world to come back to Him and surrender unto Him. Text 21.
तं त्वानुभूत्यो परतक्रियार्थं स्वमायया वर्तितलोकतन्त्रं नामामि अभीक्ष्णं नमनीयपादा सरोजमल्पीयसि कामवर्षम्
I continuously offer my respectful obeisances unto your lotus feet, of which it is worthy to take shelter, because you shower all benedictions on the insignificant, to give all living entities detachment from fruitive activity by realizing you have expanded these material worlds by your own energy. So he comes here to help people so that they can understand what their true constitutional position is. Because of that, he has created this material. Everyone, therefore, whether he desires material enjoyment, liberation, or transcendental loving service of the Lord, should engage himself offering obeisances unto the Supreme Lord. Because the Lord can award everyone his desired benediction. Towards the middle, Prabhupada writes, for material enjoyment, he, which is the Lord, has prescribed so many ritualistic sacrificial performances in the Vedas, and thus people may take advantage of those instructions and enjoy material life in higher planets or in a noble aristocratic family. These processes are mentioned in the Vedas, and one can take advantage of them. It is similar with those who want to be liberated from this material world. So everything is in the Vedas. Unless one is disgusted with the enjoyment of this material world, he cannot aspire for liberation. So, same, our situation is the same. Unless we are serious about going back to Krishna, we are not going to do any change in our life. We won't. It's not. Unless you really want to change, who can change you? Right? You must want to change, then you will learn how to change. But if already in your heart you don't want to change, no matter what the Lord does also we won't change. He can't force us. The situation may be so terrible, but we will still say, no, I'm okay here. Right? Like Indra with the pig. Yeah.
Brahma has to kill
His family.
He has to kill, right?
Yeah. He kills all of them. Then he finally gives up. That's our position. We are so enamored by this material nature. We're so forgetful of our constitutional position. We don't want to give up this material existence. So we must get disgusted. So if you are blessed, your life may be so disgusting that you are forced to think about where is the solution. Yeah, it's true. Huh?
That's a blessing.
It's a blessing actually. But a lot of time people cannot see that as a blessing.
It's easier to do devotional service when things are okay. When things get really tough, then
Yeah, because you're fighting with your mind. Yeah. Like we were discussing the other day, if you're very stressed out or nervous, panicky, how can you focus on anything? You can't. But when you're calm, then you can like, oh, this is no problem.
actually all the practice, all the classes we have heard
Yeah.
becomes the charge that is useful when you are in that stress.
Right. It should be.
So for common people, it is near impossible to do anything better just because they're in stress.
You will find sometimes you are also in a particular stressful situation, but you'll find somehow Krishna, if you are Krishna conscious enough, he'll come. And then you will think about it carefully, and then you apply something. You'll try to apply, and then you'll see where you are at again. Oh man, why I can't get out of this situation? So Prabhupada says here, you cannot aspire for liberation unless you get disgusted with the enjoyment of material. That's the key already. How much you like the material nature or dislike it. Right? It's a key. Yeah, we all are suffering because of our foolish disposition. Okay, let's continue.
ऋषिर् उवाच इत्यव्यलीकं प्रणुतोऽब्जनाभस् तमाबभाषे वचसामृतेन सुपर्णपक्षो परिरोचमानः प्रेमस्मितोद्वीक्षण विभ्रमद्भ्रूः
Maitreya resumed, sincerely extolled in these words, Lord Vishnu, shining very beautifully on the shoulders of Garuda, replied with words as sweet as nectar. His eyebrows moved gracefully as he looked at the sage with a smile full of affection. Prabhupada says the word Vachasamritena is significant. Whenever the Lord speaks, he speaks from the transcendental world. Even though he may be right in front of you. That means he's always in the transcendence. He's always in transcendence. Never covered. Even if he comes here, speaks, he is always existing in transcendental abode. He's always there. He does not speak from the material world. Not at all.
So you see the picture of Brahmaji when he is giving art, it's on lotus. Krishna.
When he what?
He's giving the gyan. Brahma Adikavai.
Oh.
He's on lotus.
Yes. The Lord is giving with the flute.
Yeah, what is it?
That's a sound also. The word Amrita.
Out of this one.
He wanted to bring a mud pot.
It's a Kumuda. The word Amrita refers to one who does not meet with death. The words and activities of the Lord are deathless. Therefore, they are not manufactured of this material world. The sound of this material world and that of the spiritual world are completely different. The sound of the spiritual world is nectarian and eternal, whereas the sound of the material world is hackneyed and subject to end. If you hear material sound, you are bound to die. If you hear spiritual sound, you live forever. The sound of the holy name, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, everlastingly increases the enthusiasm of the chanter. So this is another test. Okay? Yeah, when you are chanting, you must feel enthusiasm coming there. Now, if you don't feel enthusiastic, then you chant with people who are enthusiastic. Or join with them. They are enthusiastic to go and do service. You join them. So then your enthusiasm will definitely grow. This is a fact. Okay? If you want to be enthusiastic, then you go with devotees who are enthusiastic or who are always happy to do service. Then you also get that. Whatever disease they have, you get that. Yeah, disease of Krishna consciousness.
Epidemic.
Huh?
It spreads as an epidemic.
Yes, it spreads. So that's the idea. So when you are chanting, you shouldn't feel morose or unhappy like that. Oh, my guru made me chant 16 rounds. Why I have to do? There are so many important things to do. Right? Or you will stay up late doing so many nonsense. Then when you want to chant only, you give all kinds of reasons, right? And then when you chant, you sleep. Sleep. Then you wake up. Right? Then you look, who's seeing me? Who watched this? Okay, nobody saw.
Nobody
Save
Save this time.
Huh?
Save this.
Save. So when you're sleeping, you don't know 10 million people came and took pictures of you.
Already on Facebook. Already on Facebook.
Once I was
Already on Facebook.
I was visiting my parents, so I was all spaced out and tired. And in the morning, the chant in the temple because the parents were very close to me.
Right.
Chopani temple. So I think I was dozing off nicely when I was chanting. When Madhuri came, she woke me up. She wiped my face with a wet cloth. And she sat and she started chanting into my ears.
You felt embarrassed.
No, I didn't. I mean, I felt embarrassed of me, but I was just thinking, how concerned is she that
Yeah.
I should chant nicely, and I'm not so concerned.
Well, she did nice service. The other thing about this particular verse is the Lord has so much affection for Kardama Muni. He really loves Kardama a lot. Prabhupada says when a devotee praises the glories of the Lord is very satisfied and he bestows his transcendental benediction upon the devotee without reservation because he is always causelessly merciful toward his devotee. So therefore, you should remember the prayers of devotees and stand in front and just praise the Lord. You just have to borrow, there's nothing wrong with that. They can compose better songs than you can even imagine. Text 23.
श्रीभगवानुवाच
श्रीभगवानुवाच
विदित्वा तव चित्यं मे
विदित्वा तव चित्यं मे
दैवा समयोजितत्
पुरैव्यासमयोजितत्
यदर्थम् आत्मनियमैः
यदर्थम् आत्मनियमैः
त्वयैवाहं समर्चितः
त्वयैवाहं समर्चितः.
The Supreme Lord said, having come to know what was in your mind, I have already arranged for that for which you have worshipped me, well through your mental and sensory discipline. He's the Paramatma, he knows exactly what Kardama Muni wants. Next verse.
न वै जातु वृषैव स्यात्
न वै जातु वृषैव
प्रजाध्यक्षा मदर्हणम्
प्रजाध्यक्षामदर्हणम्
भवद्विदेषु अतितराम्
भवद्विदेषु
मयि सङ्ग्रहीतात्मनाम्
Lord continue, my dear Rishi, O leader of the living entities, for those who serve me in devotion by worshipping me, especially persons like you who have given up everything unto me, there is never any question of frustration. You were going to ask something?
Yeah, I was saying that the Lord actually seems to like the mental and sensory discipline. But I was not commenting on that. But I was saying
Well,
that he
we've
liked-
already talked about it so many times here.
Yeah.
So the same thing, if you really want to attract the Lord, you must be sense control. Yeah. Here, The main thing is, we are not perfect, but if we are sincerely worshipping Krishna, then we will be taken care by the Lord. One of the main point here is those engaged in his service are called Sakama and Akama devotees. Those who approach the Supreme Personality of God with desires for material enjoyment are called Sakama. And those devotees have no material desires for sense gratification but serve the Supreme Lord out of spontaneous love for him are called Akama. Sakama devotees are divided into 4 classes: those in distress, those in need of money, the inquisitive, and the wise. Someone worships the Supreme Lord because of bodily or mental distress. Someone else worships the Supreme Lord because he is in need of money. Someone else worships the Lord out of inquisitiveness to know him as he is. And someone wants to know the Lord as a philosopher can know him by the research work of his wisdom. Yes. Chaturvidam bhajate ma. Text 25.
Prajapati Sutah Samram
Prajapati Sutah Samram
Manurvikyata Mangalaha
Manurvikyata Mangalaha
Brahmavartam Jyotivasam
Brahmavartam Yoginasam
Shashti Shaptar Navam Mahim.
Shasti Sattarnam Mahim.
The Emperor Swayambhuva Manu, the son of Lord Brahma, who is well known for his righteous acts, has his seat in Brahmavarta and rules over the earth with its 7 oceans. So Brahmavarta is a place in Brahmaloka. 7 Varsha is the deep. It's in concentric circles, no? 7 Varshas. Okay, Prabhupada says sometimes it is stated that Brahmavarta is a part of Kurukshetra or that Kurukshetra itself is situated in Brahmavarta. But in others' opinion, Brahmavarta is a place in Brahmaloka where Swayambhuva ruled. There are many places on the surface of this earth which are also known in the higher planetary system, which means similar names. Okay, even here and up there.
Like in America, there are so many
Town
names.
Town names like
Seattle,
Seattle,
Europe,
yeah,
like that.
Paris, Paris in US. There are many places called Paris, right?
There's Salem also.
Salem, yeah, so many places like that.
Madras also. Madras.
No, he's from Salem actually.
There are many similar names on the surface of the earth, and it may be that
That's his passion.
during the Swayambhuva Manu or the Boar age, okay, there are many similar names. The word Mangala is significant. Mangala means one who is elevated in every respect in the opulences of religious performances, ruling power, cleanliness, and all other good qualities. Vikyata means celebrated. Swayambhu Manu was celebrated for all good qualities and opulences. So this person is very qualified, no? We can't even share any of our qualities in this. We don't have any qualities. Whatever one quality they have, we are finished with. That's so glorious these people are. Text 26.
Sacheha Viprarajirishir
Sacheha Viprarajarshi
Mahishya Shatarupaya
Mahishya Shatarupaya
Ayasyati Ditrikshustvam
Ayasyati Ditrikshustvam
Parashvo Dharma Kovidaha
Parashvo Dharma Kovidaha.
The day after tomorrow, O Brahmana, that celebrated emperor who is expert in religious activities will come here with his queen, Shatarupa, wishing to see you. Text 27.
आत्मजाम् असितापाङ्घ्रिं
आत्मजामसितापाङ्गिं
वयःशीलागुणान्वितां
वयशीलागुणामितां
मृगयन्तीं पतिं दास्यति
मृगयन्तीं पतिं दास्यति
अनुरूपाय ते प्रभो
अनुरूपाय ते प्रभो.
He has a grown-up daughter whose eyes are black. She is ready for marriage, and she has good character and all good qualities. She is also searching for a good husband. My dear sir, her parents will come to see you who are exactly suitable for her, just to deliver your daughter as your wife. The Supreme Lord is saying how good her quality is, so don't try to say this or that about Devahati. He's very qualified.
God is so affectionate.
And he's very
Coming and
affectionate.
telling like a elder person.
And his father.
matchmakers.
He's like a matchmaker. He's asking for a bride and he's like, okay, I've made arrangements. Okay, she'll come, just marry her, finish. So the Swayambhu Manu and his wife are going to bring the girl because they've already heard about Kardama Muni, how good he is and so on. So they're coming to give the girl for him. That's the system. Text 28.
I also noticed that Lord is calling him Prabhu.
Hmm?
Lord is calling Kardama Muni as Prabhu.
Prabhu.
Proper.
My dear sir.
Yes, sir.
Not master, but dear sir. That means he's qualified. He's a master of the senses. He can control himself. Yeah.
That's right.
Text 28.
समाहितं ते हृदयं
समाहितं ते हृदयं
यत्रे मां परिवत्सरान्
यत्रे मां परिवत्सरान्
सा त्वां ब्रह्मन् नृपवधूः
सा त्वां ब्रह्मण्यवधूः
कामम् आशु भजिष्यति
कामम् आशु भजिष्यति.
That princess, oh holy sage, will be just the type you have been thinking of in your heart for all these long years. She will soon be yours and will serve you to your heart's content. So because he's a devotee, the Lord is willing to give him this benediction. He's a devotee. And because he had a particular kind of desire, in this case for progeny, the Lord is willing to grant him this thing. Otherwise, if you are not qualified, then the Lord won't grant you that. You know, the way he grants you, then he'll first make you qualified, purify you. Then by the time you're purified, you probably won't have the desire. Yeah. So that's how he will do. But in this case, Kardama Muni is already very exalted, very qualified. It's not that he wants to have sex and so he's asking for this. No. He's saying, this is my service, I want to have a qualified person. So the Lord, yeah, sure, no problem. No problem. It's like he come and, yeah, sure, take, go, like that. You know? But when we go, he said, what do you want? Who are you? What is your qualification?
Again, you.
Like that. So there is, you can see, just by reading this, you can see the position of Kardama and Devavati. They are on a different planet. They are on a different planet anyway. Very qualified, super qualified. So the Lord can easily grant what we desire, but we have to be qualified. Easily, like that. Even as you are thinking, he can grant you, which is what he's saying to Kardama. I already know what you wanted. As soon as you thought, I already granted. So that is the exalted position of Kardama. And as you said, and as we read here, so much love for Kardama. Particularly, he has a lot of affection. So Kardama Muni is not an ordinary person. Please, when you read about Kardama Muni, what he does, don't see him as an ordinary person. So there's another thing Prabhupada explains in the last paragraph. It is also significantly noted here that Kardama Muni was a Brahmana, whereas Emperor Swayambhuva was a Kshatriya. So the Manu is Kshatriya. Therefore, inter-caste marriage was current even in those days. So he's smashing caste system,
Pratiloma.
Huh?
Pratiloma marriage.
Pratiloma marriage. The system was that a Brahmana could marry the daughter of a Kshatriya, but the Kshatriya could not marry the daughter of a Brahmana. We have evidences from the history of the Vedic age that Sukra Acharya offered his daughter to Maharaj Yayati, but the king had to refuse to marry the daughter of a Brahmana. Only with the special permission of the Brahmana could they marry. Intercaste marriage, therefore, was not prohibited in the olden days, many millions of years ago, but there was a regular system of social behavior. Okay, what we have now is all man-made. Anyhow, they whack it.
Is this as per Janma Karma or Guna Karma? This system.
According to qualification, generally, what do you mean by Janma Karma?
So say if Drona is by behavior a Kshatriya,
Drona actually is not a Kshatriya.
he's a Brahmana.
He's a Brahmana.
But
He took the role of. So a Brahmana can do those activities.
so he still remains a Brahmana.
Yes.
Because he's a teacher.
There's a question.
Sutta Goswami was like that. His mother was Sutta Goswami.
Yeah.
Father was Brahman, Romarsons.
Yeah, Roman. But
That's why I see this in the beginning of Bhagavatam. It's talk about him. Right?
yeah,
So
but he was qualified.
he was
He's a
qualified.
Brahmana.
Yeah, he's
Yes. You forgot? Okay. You're thinking too fast. I told you, right? You have to slow down. You think too fast, you forget. It's zoom.
somewhat too slow.
Okay, text 29.
So the connected question is
Yeah.
so somebody by Guna Karma is a Brahmana.
Yes.
His daughter
May not necessarily.
be
Yes.
a Brahmana by
Yes.
her Guna Karma. So she may behave like a Kshatriya.
Yes.
Right. But the way it is described, it sounds like it is by the parental. Parents are Brahmana.
No, there is a one situation where Sukracharya wanted his daughter to marry the king because she liked him so much. So that's why the situation arose in that case. But otherwise, they don't marry from a higher to a lower. Generally not, unless there's a special permission. So in that case, which is Prabhupada quotes, is only with special permission.
Sorry to stress this conversation. But, so if a girl, whether she's born to a Brahmana or a Kshatriya, girls are doing their household duties. So it's hard to find out whether the girl has a Brahmana tendencies or a Kshatriya tendencies.
Nowadays, yeah. Those days, no.
It was still household activities only, right?
Yeah, but they know. What household, how do you know what they're doing? Those days they know. The Kshatriya girls, they had certain qualities. Like you take case of Dasarath's wife, right? Kaikeyi. She could take the chariot and drive, man. Only a Kshatriya lady would do that. Otherwise, they won't do that. Huh?
And Satyabhama.
Yeah, they can do that. Or they go in battle also sometimes.
So my understanding is typically, essentially at that time, if you are in that family, you are born.
Yeah,
You are also having
Satya
those
Yuga,
qualities.
everyone is proper.
Basically, it's all in line. Guna and
That's,
Guna.
but
Janma and Guna are in line.
yeah, in previous age it's all
But in Kalyuga,
okay. Now you cannot. Now you could be a Brahmana, Sudra, Kshatriya, like that. You may have precautions like that. Because combination of modes. Huh?
previously it was all, previously it's in line.
Yeah.
That's why
now-
the family system was just worked.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
it's
you
like-
were seeing the qualification of, I think the devotional qualification of the person.
yeah, for us nowadays, you may have some qualification, but you tend to guide it towards your main
Culture.
guna. So if you are Shudra, you will do Shudra activities more than the other activities. But we are not worried so much about that. We want everyone to do devotional practice. And by doing that, eventually in the future, our system will generate qualified Brahmanas. And then from there, society can be maintained or sustained or guided by Kshatriyas and Vaishyas and so on. At the moment, predominantly Shudra, even low, he says.
Shudra is exalted.
It is Shudra.
Shudra is exalted, I think.
Yeah, at the moment Shudra is exalted with Vaishya.
But Prabhupada says like
There's a lot of Vaishya tendency.
Yeah, a lot of Shudra Vaishya tendency.
Lower than Shudra.
Chivalry and all that, you can see some politicians have that, but that also going. Very rare. Brahmanas also very rare. But in our movement, Prabhupada wants to cultivate. By training, you will get, by the Pancharatriki system, you can raise your consciousness to a Brahmana, provided you follow. If you can't, then you are not of that caliber. Okay?
Like how a bulk metal can be transformed
Yes.
into
Yes.
gold by
Yes.
proper process.
Exactly. That's Pancharatriki. The bell metal is transformed from lead to gold. Yeah. Okay, text 29.
यात आत्मभृतं वीर्यं
यातात्मामृतं वीर्यं
नवदा प्रसविष्यति
नवदा प्रसविष्यति
वीर्ये त्वदीये ऋषया
वीर्ये ऋषया
आधास्यन्ति अज्ञसात्मनः
आदास्यन्ति
She will bring forth 9 daughters from the seed sown in her by you, and through the daughters you beget, the sages will duly beget children. Text 30. Text 30.
त्वं च सम्यग् अनुष्ठाय निदेशं मा उषत्तमः मयि तीर्थे कृताशेन क्रियार्थो मां प्रपत्स्यसे
With your heart cleansed by properly carrying out my command, resigning to me the fruits of all your acts, you will finally attain to me. So it's the same thing, even in Bhagavad Gita, right? Lord tells Arjuna, right? Do your duty, but don't be attached to it and give it all to me. This, by now you should know the philosophy is very clear. This is the system. It's not that the little bitty change, for one person and another. No, it's the same. Thousands of years ago, now, no change. Very perfectly clear. Huh? So Lord is the only person who can grant everything to anybody. So here he is giving whatever Kardama he wants, he's granting him that. And then he says, with your heart cleansed by properly carrying out my command. Okay? So if you do what the Lord tells you to do, your heart will be cleansed. And then he says the second thing is, resign everything, all your fruits of things should be resigned to me, which means you don't enjoy. Because I am the enjoyer. Bhaktharam Yajnatapasam. No one else can enjoy. And we have to understand that also. Only Krishna can enjoy. So therefore, whether you raise a family, whether you run a country, whether you do anything in this society is done on behalf of Krishna. That's what we are doing. Even when we guide somebody, you're guiding them on behalf of Krishna. You're not guiding them because you are thinking you are going to enjoy it. So it's very clear. At the same time, it's subtle because we are listening to our mind. So it has to be very clear how you do your service. Everything is for the pleasure of the Lord. Yeah, they read the first part and that's it. I'll do my duty. That's how most people say, right? That's all. But they don't read the second part. But you're not entitled to the fruits of the Lord. Not entitled. Krishna tells very clearly.
Third thing was the same. Ma karma phalita. Don't think you're the result of the cause of your activities.
Don't think you are the.
Yourself to be the result of the cause.
Yeah, you are not the person who's doing it.
At the same time, not be attached to not doing it.
Don't get attached to not doing it.
Yeah, and don't be. Yeah, which is what we like to do.
1 yes and 3 no's.
Yes. For me, yes. For
Anything else, no.
anything else, no. So that's not welcome. The same thing instruction is given by the Lord to Kardama Muni. And then Maharaj Yudhishthira welcomed Narada Muni as wherever you are present, that place becomes sanctified because the Lord Himself is always seated in your heart. So similarly, if we act in Krishna consciousness under the direction of the Lord and His representative, then everything is sanctified. Okay? So the same way, if you do according to what Prabhupada and the authorities and your Guru says, then it will be sanctified. It will be sanctified. Whatever you are doing will be sanctified. That place that you are doing is sanctified. Text 31. Yeah.
You already mentioned that before, but if we compare Kardama Muni example to Dhruva Maharaj, after the 6 months of penance, his material desire, he said there is no material desire left in me. He got purified to him after the Lord touched him.
Yeah, the Lord touched you.
In this case, Kardama Muni also pure devotee, but he's maintaining his desire. So it's Prabhupada is giving that explanation which you also talked about. That so it was. Is it because for service, or is it because Kardama Muni is in a certain position and he needs
See, one
to do
is
that?
different, no? This Kardama Muni is because he was asked to do this. It's a service for his father. Yeah, he wasn't going after this
Yes.
on his own.
Yes.
He wasn't interested.
Yeah. So that's clear. Yeah.
Because his father instructed him, he's doing it, and therefore his mood is different
Yeah.
from Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj was after.
He was angry. He wanted to.
He is after material things. Yeah. He was after wealth.
Yeah.
Whereas Kardama Muni wasn't after anything. But still, the Lord gives the same instruction that you should not be attached to the results, because we are all tatastha. We can be enamored by the material energy.
Yeah.
So be careful, do it for me and don't be attached to the results. That's what he's giving instruction to Kardama. Because we will get, no, you can see, I mean, at least I know, sometimes I'm like, wow, I'm doing it so wonderful. Right? Actually, no, Krishna is doing it. So that understanding must cut in. The intelligence must cut in. Shastra, Chakshu. You need to see it through Shastra. Am I doing it favorably or unfavorably? Particularly, yes.
After that, Dhruva Maharaj also did.
After that, after he got purified,
Then he also got labeled. Started killing.
That's different pastime.
Yeah, still.
Next one.
कृत्वादयां च जीवेषु दत्तवाचाभ्यम् आत्मवान् मय्यात्मानं सह जगत् द्रक्ष्यस्यात्मनि चापि माम्.
Showing compassion to all living entities, you will attain self-realization. Giving assurance of safety to all, you will perceive your own self as well as all the universes in me and myself in you. So it's assuring him, you're going to go back to Godhead. It will be nice, right, for us to get this. Well, Prabhupada already gave us the assurance. It's just that we have to work in. Yeah. Anyway, there's some Prabhupada writes. The first principle to understand is that this world is a product of the Supreme Will. There is an identity of this world with the Supreme Lord. This identity is accepted in a misconceived way by the impersonalists. They say that the Supreme Absolute truth, transforming himself into the universe, loses his separate existence. Thus, they accept the world and everything in it to be the Lord. That is pantheism, wherein everything is considered to be the Lord. This is the view of the impersonalists. So this is how they see things, but that's not the way we understand, okay? Correct? Got it? Or are you still looking for it? Okay. So there's a difference between the way they see it and the way we see it. So what's the difference?
We see the Lord is existing.
Everything is a manifestation of the Supreme Lord.
Yeah, that's what they're saying, no?
Everything in relation to Krishna.
Well, that's what they're saying.
Lord
Also.
also difference is in the desire.
Huh?
Difference is in the desire of the living entity.
No, in this statement.
In this, okay.
So he loses his separate identity.
Who? That's what they're saying, yeah, but that's not the fact. Yeah. They're saying he's separated and becoming different parts of the universe. No, that's not what it is. Okay. That's, Prabhupada said that is incorrect.
Prabhu, there was a related question somebody asked before, that somebody who's seeing it like this pantheist, is he same as an impersonalist who thinks that the Lord is just this effulgence or light?
It is, as Prabhupada said, it's a view of impersonalism. Yeah.
So
It's kind of
it's just,
Yeah.
it's kind of impersonal. Basically, it's just, it's not, because some people think God is light or just effulgence like that, but people, but pantheism is seeing everything as the Lord.
Yeah.
So the two separate things altogether, or they are this
Separate. It's two different views.
two different views
Yes.
of two different kinds of impersonal
Yes.
views.
But we say everything is Krishna, but not Krishna at the same time.
Krishna and his energies.
Huh?
Krishna and his energy.
And his energy, separated energy.
But Mayavadi sees it as a Jagat.
Yes.
So it's a Maya.
Nityam. No, Mayavadi is always. So everything is false.
Right, I mean, but even the material world they see as Jagat. Right?
Yes.
As a Jada Jagat.
Jada Jada. So then Prabhupada explains, as those who are personal devotees of the Lord take everything to be the property of the Supreme Lord. Everything we see is the manifestation of this Supreme Lord. So they are Krishna, but not Krishna at the same time, because they are separated. Achinta Bheda Bheda Tattva here should be looked at. Huh?
Shakti Parinam.
Yes, yes. It's all a manifestation of its energies. So in that sense,
that's the mistake Mayavadis make.
right. They cannot understand.
They're like superimposition. They're like Vivartava. Ours is Shakti Parinam. That's what Vyasadeva gives.
Okay.
Shankaracharya says Vyasadeva is on.
Yeah.
He comes up with this theory of superimposition.
Yeah, but he was told to do that. So yes. But yeah, that's how they see the whole manifestation. Everything is Maya, false. But we see that everything is one with Krishna, but separated. One with Krishna. They can exist individually, but they are still part and parcel of the whole.
Prabhupada's amazing choice of the word part and parcel. See, I think that's what that Prabhu was telling. Nobody had ever used it in English this way Prabhupada used.
I think he borrowed it from his guru.
I said like,
yeah.
Even though English is such an imperfect language, Prabhupada actually brought English equal to Sanskrit.
Part and parcel.
The way of used Sanskrit, English, he expressed all those.
Yeah, those people don't use those part and parcel statement. Part and parcel has to be together, cannot be separated. Yeah, that's why he's Acharya.
Part means one, parcel means separate.
Yeah.
So,
and therefore it is part and parcel, not part or separate parcel.
A nice verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Hmm.
Stavara jangam dekhe na dekhe tar. Murti.
Later then.
Delhi la 8274. Stavara jangam dekhe na dekhe tar murti. Sarvatra hoy nije ishtadev spurti.
Translation?
Although he sees trees, mountains, and other living entities moving here and there, he sees all as the creation of the Supreme Lord, and with reference to the context, sees only the Creator and not the Creator. So Guruji Chandra was saying, like, when a mother sees a child's shoe, and actually
She sees the child.
She sees the child, right?
Not the.
She doesn't see
See
this
the-
separately.
In other words, he no longer distinguishes between the created and the creator. He sees only the Supreme Personality of Godhead in everything. He sees Krishna in everything and everything in Krishna. This is the oneness.
That's devotee.
Devotee, yeah.
That's the way we see everything. We try to connect everything with the Supreme Lord. And in wanting to connect everything with another human being, we try to connect them with the devotional practice. Because they are part and parcel.
Going like this.
What?
Not going directly, it's going up and
Yeah,
down.
Father.
Saying everything in relation.
in relation to Krishna.
So Prabhu, Pantheism means because everything is considered to be the Lord. So the Mayavadi concept that I'm Lord, you are not. Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's exactly what they're saying. But that's a false premise.
Mayavadi, this like nothing exists. They reject everything.
Hmm?
Matter.
What time will finish?
We're going to finish soon.
She wanted to give exam.
Yeah, we'll,
So come at home.
yeah,
3:13.
3:15.
3:15 at my home. Yeah, my home.
Okay, so in the next paragraph,
3:15.
Prabhupada writes, just want to finish this then. This energy can be utilized for real self-interest if one is compassionate. A person in Krishna consciousness, a devotee of the Lord, is always compassionate. He is not satisfied that only he himself is a devotee, but he tries to distribute the knowledge of devotion service to everyone. There are many devotees of the Lord who faced many risks in distributing the devotion service of the Lord to the people in general. That should be done. Because everything is a product of the Lord's energy. Therefore, everything should be employed in the service of the Lord. So therefore, the devotee wants to always connect people to Krishna by helping them connect. And then Prabhupada wants to emphasize, which is in the next paragraph, but the different classes of devotee. He says, those who don't show sympathy but just go to the temple and do some kirtan or something like that. And he says they are like third class devotee. They show some respect generally. Then he says second class is merciful and compassionate to the fallen souls. Because they see themselves as servants, so they always are trying to help the fallen. So we don't want to be like that. In general, we don't want third class devotees. No? Anyway, if anybody becomes a devotee, it's good. But the point is, if you want to attract the Lord, then you have to become first class. So you can't stay third class all the time. At least come to second class, where you'll go and preach. So Prabhupada writes, as long as one is not compassionate to people in general in his devotional service to the Lord, he is a third class devotee. The first class devotee gives assurance to every living being, including insects, everything, that there's no fear of this material existence. Let us live in Krishna consciousness and conquer the nescience of material existence. So basically, when the Lord says to Kardama Muni, showing compassion to all living entities, it means Grihasthas must practice charity.
Spiritual.
Both spiritual and material. So Kardama Muni is also told to be compassionate, liberal. Prabhupada writes there in the last paragraph, yes, Kardama Muni is directed by the Lord to be very compassionate and liberal in his householder life and to give assurance to the people in his renounced life. A sannyasi, one in the renounced order life, is meant to give enlightenment to the people. He should travel going from home to enlighten. The householder, by the spell of Maya, becomes absorbed in family affairs and forgets his relationship with Krishna. If he dies in forgetfulness like the cats and dogs, then his life is spoiled. It is the duty of a sannyasi, therefore, to go and awaken the forgetful souls with enlightenment about their eternal relationship with the Lord and to engage them in devotional service. So, as a devotee, the devotee should show mercy to the fallen souls and also give them the assurance of fearlessness. As soon as one becomes a devotee of the Lord, he is convinced that he is protected by the Lord. Fear itself is afraid of the Lord. Therefore, what has he to do with fearfulness? So then Prabhupada continues. To award fearlessness to the common man is the greatest act of charity.
Very nice statement. To award fearlessness.
In the verse also giving assurance of safety.
Yes. In the verse also, that's why Prabhupada is writing, he's expanding on it. Prabhupada says sannyasi must just wander from door to door, from village to village, town to town, country to country, all over the world, as far as he is able to travel, just to enlighten the householders about Krishna consciousness. And even after that, he says, a person who is a householder but is initiated by sannyasi has the duty to spread Krishna consciousness at home as far as possible. He should call his friends and neighbors to his house and hold classes in Krishna consciousness. So many of you are doing that. Holding a class means chanting the holy name of Krishna and speaking from Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah, DYS or Gita class. So then he breaks down the division of labor of the Lord's service. The householder's duty is to earn money because a sannyasi is not supposed to earn money. So that should be careful, no? Because the money can corrupt. Money is like honey and can stick a sannyasi to corruption. Whereas sannyasi is completely dependent on the household. Actually, all the three ashrams, apart from Grihastha, is dependent on the Grihastha ashram. The householder should earn money for business or by profession and spend at least 50% of his income to spread Krishna consciousness. 25% he can spend for his family and 25% he should save to meet emergency. This example was shown by Rupa Goswami, so devotees should follow it. So some devotees do try to follow because of the way the government, the structure, tax and so on. So I guess not everyone can do 50%. Actually, the government taxes so that they can help the citizens. But nowadays they are taxing to put in their own pockets. So the whole system is totally corrupt. Yeah. So finally, Prabhupada says to be one with the Supreme means to be one with the interests of the Lord. So whatever the Lord wants, that is what I will do. Then I am one with the Lord, not in terms of merging in the body. That is not the right understanding. And one in desire. You can never be better than the Lord. Nobody can be better than the Lord. Lord is the Supreme. We are always the servants, that's all. We cannot take his position, not possible. We are Anu. Okay. And Prabhupada quotes this verse from Bhagavad Gita, Man mana bhava mad bhakta. So then Prabhupada says, Krishna wants everyone always to think of him. Everyone should always offer obeisances to Krishna. This is the will of the Supreme Lord, and devotees should try to fulfill his desire. Manu?
Mam anusmara yuddhacha. So first remember me and then fight.
Oh, okay. So Krishna wants everyone to always think of him. That's an interesting statement.
That's a very interesting statement.
Always think of him. Because he created us for that purpose. Then Prabhupada says, devotees try to fulfill his desire. Since the Lord is unlimited, his desire is also unlimited. In the transcendental world, there is unlimited competition between the Lord and the servitor. The Lord wants to fulfill his desires unlimitedly, and the devotee also serves him to fill his unlimited desires. There is an unlimited oneness of interest between the Lord and his devotee. That's very nice. We will stop here. This is a long chapter, so
20 pages left.
20
Another
more.
24,
Yeah.
24.
Tomorrow is holidays? No.
No, tomorrow we start normally.
Sir?
What happened?
Mataji will be waiting.
Oh,
I was hearing Gagan Prabhu is saying in his lecture today. There were life members in between Prabhupada said they were life members. They were saying some interesting things to Prabhupada. So one of them said to Prabhupada, I really like this is my favorite verse in Bhagavad Gita. So Prabhupada was like, which is that verse? So he said, Yatha Ichhasi Tatha Guru. Krishna is telling Arjun, you do whatever you want. So that is that guy's favorite one. You do whatever you want. Just
Only that part. Only that part.
Why not Bhagavad That's only the first line. Quarter line the quote.
Yeah.
always, with a half or whatever they want, they put. Oh, that's so nice.
No, Bhagavad Gita. Do your duty.
Do your duty. I'm doing my duty.
I'm doing nonsense.
So why you are disturbing me?
I think we should.
That's nice. I read on that long ago.
He was
It
just
is
saying
there.
that what all Prabhupada had to hear. Amazing.
So then,
I think we should counter it with what Arjuna said. I will do whatever.
So they will go yesterday we were watching Prabhupada's video. And that some foreigner, some lady kept asking him, so So when you go to your center in LA, do you have many cars in a very opulent building and all? The Prabhupada kept trying not to answer her question. And she kept like, no, other spiritual people have, so do you also have it? So Prabhupada just told her, because you are at least I'm not sitting on that elevated seat.
There was a big Vyasa was there. Prabhupada was not sitting there. This reporter was
Yeah, so you think because you're so at least I'm not sitting there, I'm sitting on the floor with you. And then she started laughing.
It's amazing.
No, and she started laughing when she heard that.
Yeah, you would think like he's saying it very strongly, but actually he says it in a loving way.
Actually, when you're reading, you do not know.
Yeah, that's
You
what.
have to see some of the videos. He's not harsh. He's like
He's not harsh.
saying softly or joking like that.
Yeah.
And they also start.
And we also laugh.
One time, somebody said, "Oh, Papa fought with this guy or something like
You
that."
read like that, and then you
And then they were
watch
saying the guy was angry and Prabhupada. And they said, "How do you know?" I read the text. So I said, "Wow, Prabhupada must have been angry." And then within the same week, I saw the video. Somebody was watching. Same video.
But it was
So
not.
Prabhupada was like, not joking, speaking to the guy was complaining. What happened was, devotees went to his store, a flower store, and took the flowers. And he said they have to pay. They say everything belongs to
Krishna.
He's a flower owner. So he came to Prabhupada and said, "This is what they said." He's talking very softly. And Prabhupada said, "That is wrong." "Yes, I told them, but they say everything belongs to Krishna."
I will not.
Prabhupada laughs. Ha ha ha. He said, "But we shouldn't do like that. We should pay." And then there was no argument. The man was so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's so big.
then there was a video of some BBT or like accounts and all that. So Prabhupada was talking so peacefully and understanding all. But when we read it, it seems like Prabhupada is taking it up.
Yeah, exactly. People give us a wrong
It
impression.
gives the wrong impression.
Prabhupada, oh, so